welcome everyone to your next favorite podcast. We are your Misfits, and I'm gonna start off by saying I fucked up. The reason we didn't have an episode last week was partially my fault. I'm gonna blame Bunny a little bit, but it's partially my fault.
You can blame me because I did the same thing, but I rectified mine.
Yeah, you at least gave me your full footage. I only had 18 minutes. So we did have an episode last week, but we didn't. So there are clips of what we talked about, but in case you missed those, we'll go over them. But we also want to shout out Yuri Naji for the music that you're probably still hearing in the background. How long is it? 18 seconds? No,
Yeah.
You're not hearing it right now. But, I mean, it was at the start of the episode, so...
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Yuri Naji. I really appreciate it. But, yeah, he made us this really amazing intro to the podcast, and I'm super excited to use it.
So, first of all, just to kind of recap some things we talked about in case people didn't see the clips last week, is we're looking for guests, and we actually have our first guest scheduled for the August 2nd upload is when I plan on uploading it.
Yes, and he's very passionate about the game we're going to be talking about, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that episode.
I'm pretty excited for that episode too. The game looks pretty good. I still don't know a thing about it besides like who made it, essentially.
Well, our guest will be happy to educate you about the game.
I know he will be. But other than that, we're looking for guests who are kind of growing on TikTok and Twitch and YouTube, content creators essentially, who want to just come on, talk about them, their brand, kind of get themselves out there, collaborate. And then the second main thing we technically talked about, because I don't remember anything I wanted to talk about, so the guest was mine and the developers was yours. We're looking for a game developer, someone who can code up a game for us and potentially make a game with us.
Yeah.
It's dependent on the Kickstarter, but we'll definitely be interested in finding someone. I mean, at first it's all going to be reliant on Bunny, and I'll push her to do things, but...
You make it sound like I don't stay on task. Come on now.
I mean, sometimes it's hard to get you on task.
No, me and DJ just were talking about our combined dream of making a game, and just talking about how DJ likes to run the business side of things. I like doing 3D modeling, graphics, that such and such. But we're putting feelers out for possibly a programmer, someone who could help us as far as possibly using like the Godot engine or Unity. You know, it's nothing's in stone. We can definitely just chat and talk about like what everyone can bring to the table. But we would like to do like a 3 or 4 man team and try to actually put together something. We also need to talk about what kind of a game we would like to create and everything.
Yeah,
as well,
that's something else we need to sit down
that
and
really
talk
needs to
about.
be decided before anything else, honestly.
It does, yes. I think before we hire a developer, that's one of the main things we need to think about.
Because that person's going to be like, all right, what you want to make? DJ's going to be like, crickets.
Yeah. But anyways, moving on to this week's stuff. I think this one is interesting. We're going to save some entertaining news because I know we'll talk about it for a while. This pertains to you. Have you heard what the AMC stock's been like lately? I don't know if it's like a good time to sell right now, if it's going to start crashing, but have you heard anything about it?
Yes. So actually, I mean, so before you talk about a stock in any kind of public forum, remember, DJ, you have to say this is not financial advice. I just like the stock, and this is what I think about it. But, so for my opinion, not to get caught up in the meaniness, but just looking at the stock numbers, you can clearly see the market manipulation on it. I'm not selling what I have. Definitely not. Just the fact that we're going to have quite a few things coming up soon as far as, like, you know, time running out on a lot of options and shares and things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with it having gone down to where it is, I'm still, like, a couple hundred over what I put into it. So it's no money loss. I already got what I put into it out of it. I'm definitely holding on because I could definitely see another big spike.
Right. So I'm subscribed to this website that gives you free news every single day at like 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially they talk about like the stock market and like business stuff a lot. And AMC was actually in one of the emails this week, and it said something like they're giving up $25 million worth of stocks that they were supposed to put in, and they're just not doing them now.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
I heard a little bit on that as well, but I don't know. It's one of those things where you just have to be smart about it. What I put into it, I already took out what I put into it. So I'm just playing with house money at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so most of the things I want to talk about are kind of pertaining to you and your Twitch stream and stuff like that. So we'll talk about.
I don't know. You're pretty mean to me. Are you gonna try to slander me on the podcast too?
No. But we'll talk about the Nintendo Switch first.
Okay.
So I guess I want to hear your opinion on it first, and then I'll share my opinion about it.
My opinion on it is this. This is definitely not the Switch Pro. This is a half step towards the Switch Pro, basically. Basically, what happened is a lot of people got hyped over basically just rumors and speculation. Now, that being said, there was a Forbes. There was a Forbes article talking about some actual hard evidence as far as hardware that Nintendo has been purchasing rights to. So they're definitely working on a Switch Pro. And when people started getting hyped saying it was going to be announced and coming out soon, I was already scratching my head because here's the deal. Why would they drop a Pro without Breath of the Wild 2? That makes no sense. So I am still expecting a Switch Pro because you're talking about the company who makes renditions of its console work. I mean, there's like 6 different renditions of the 3DS. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, like the DS series. There is like 6 or so odd different renditions of it. So yeah, all this is if you don't have a Switch or you need a Switch, for $50 more, you get a bigger screen and it's a nicer screen. That's really all it is. And honestly, hardware-wise, if I was in the market for a Switch, if I didn't already have one, yeah, I'd spend $50 more for a better screen. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it looks nicer and the dock looks nicer. The main thing I think, which I think they messed up on with the original Switch, is the LAN port.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they had to remove one of the 2 USB ports to put it in.
Yeah.
And everyone has an adapter for LAN for their dock right now, and if they don't, like you said, it's for those new people trying to get a Switch that don't currently have one.
Yeah. And they're phasing out the original Switch. That is definitely something that they have confirmed. They're going to phase out the original Switch. So down the road, it's not going to be 4 different versions of the Switch. It's going to be Lite, OLED, and Pro. And I get that people have an adapter, but personally, I just use Wi-Fi. I don't do an adapter for my Switch. I have no issues with Splatoon or anything. But I get that some people have really spotty Wi-Fi. So for me, it wasn't too worrisome. I also don't really worry about having one less USB, other than having like my Pokemon controller plugged into charge or something. But I don't use a keyboard or anything because it literally has the smartphone hookup where you can type in game, via your smartphone. So I never even really thought about having like a keyboard or anything either. I'm certain.
Yeah.
I'm certain there's definitely reasons to have it. I just have never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are disappointed because they got hyped up for this Switch Pro because of all these leaks, and that's just something you can't really prevent from happening. Like, people are
Yeah.
just gonna get overly hyped for stuff and then be let down and be upset about the announcement.
I feel like especially Nintendo fans, because let's be honest, Nintendo, as much as I do love Nintendo, they're very bad at marketing themselves. So
They are, yeah.
they should have just come out and said, no, like, don't plan on anything like this, at least for the next year. You know what I mean? But I mean, they didn't, and like I said, it's just $50 more, and you're getting the better. For me, the better screen is worth it. If something happens to my Switch and I was like, oh crap, I have to get another Switch, I'd probably get the OLED one just because. But no, there are definite solid speculations about the 4K and the better GPU and just hardware in general. And based off of what Forbes had gotten information on, I do believe there is going to be a Switch Pro. That just makes sense. You know, it's just like Sony. They're always doing 2 renditions now. Like, we have PS5 now, but you know there's going to be like a PS5 Beast Mode or something in like 4 years.
Yeah.
They always do that too nowadays. That's just the thing consoles do.
Yeah, well, right now the thing consoles are doing is releasing 2 on launch. One for if you like digital copies, and one if you want physical copies.
Oof, that is such a hard topic for me too, because like...
I don't like going out, but I like sometimes having the physical copy.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the deal too. I very much am a green person. I try to make choices. I don't necessarily talk about it a lot because I know that everyone's just gonna do whatever they want to do. Like, it's up to people to decide if that's something they care about. But me personally, I do go out of my way to buy glass and metal. I try not to buy plastic, but that is like my one thing. Skin lotion and video games. Those are like my 2 things where I'm all like, I've just, resigned myself that this is probably the plastic that I will spend money on.
Yeah.
Because I like having a disc. I would pay $10 more if they would just give me steel booklets for my games. Because I already like to buy steel booklets when they're available. So, just give me my CD and that.
Yeah, the problem with when video game companies make steel booklets, it's usually like a pre-order
I know, yeah.
extreme bundle. Like Call of Duty does it.
Yeah.
Or they did do it a lot.
Well, in Best Buy, they almost always have some of these different steel booklets that you can buy for like $10 on their own as well nowadays anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, they did it for, not to bring up this game, but Cyberpunk. They have their own like little steel booklets, and they had some other ones for like Expo and stuff too. But yeah, no, I just don't know how. Like, on one hand, you're paying a little less, and I know that digital sales tend to be better than physical sales typically.
Yeah.
And it's less plastic, and you don't have a disc reader, so you don't have to worry about something going out in regards to that. So in my mind, I want to love the digital versions, but just, I don't know, the kid in me who got excited to go to GameStop and buy and blow all of my allowance money on games and collect them. I don't know, that voice inside me is like, no, you can't take this from me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
It's certainly tough. Yeah, so that seems to be the thing, but yeah, like you said, we're definitely going to get a PS5 Pro and an Xbox S or X Pro.
Something, yeah. Well, and one other thing about the Switch debacle, because I'm not in any way saying, oh, don't be angry at Nintendo. Like I said, they're bad at marketing themselves and just communicating.
They shouldn't have done this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think they could have just saved it. But I also wonder, part of me, 35% of me is wondering if they didn't start this whole thing out planning on making a Pro, but then realizing that they couldn't get the chips and probably not wanting to admit that they couldn't get the chips. And so they're like, well, you get a better screen. Yay, party poppers.
Yeah, that could be possible.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be a thing, too. But I totally plan on there being a Pro, and I will probably get it when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
Yeah, for sure. I also wanted, before we talk about your stream and like your VTube character and stuff, can I just talk about how Canada gets shit on for everything? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, being a Canadian, like, we noticed this recently with Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Online or whatever. But like, Canada just gets shit on. We get everything late. We get, or we don't get it at all.
Yeah.
If we do get it, it's in like Vancouver and Toronto. Like, or just like, it's annoying. I've been annoyed with this recently. I've been seeing a lot more of like, America just gets everything because that's where all the corporations are, and it sucks.
I feel the same way about like Japan, because Japan's the mother country of a lot of our favorite gaming, companies and stuff. But no, I totally get you. The grass is always greener on the other side, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I was trying to, me, Whale, and Monkey, but all three of us tried to buy you Red Dead Online. It's like, it won't let us, and then the sale ended, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's 30 here, and it's 20 over here, and I was just like, what the frack?
Yeah, so essentially it's $5 more Canadian to buy it in Canada than it is in the States.
That is crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
What the heck? Yeah.
So it's like $25.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been noticing it a lot recently, and like it's always kind of annoyed me. Like there could be like snacks. Like, okay, so right now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm assuming you know what craft dinner is, living in New York.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so right now, Craft Dinner has these flavoring packets for sale. And one of the flavors is cotton candy. There's 3 flavors, and I know cotton candy for sure is one. There's a ghost pepper one, too. And I'm just like, why? And then I'm like looking, and then, like, it's not American at all.
Huh.
Which is like the one time Canada got something, but it's like, I don't know what your guys' Taco Bell is like, but can't you get like tequila Baja Blast or something like that?
Well, we have there is a soda called Baja Blast. It's Mountain Dew though. But yeah. There is a Baja Blast, yeah.
Oh, so we have Baja Blast, but like I heard in some parts of the States, they have like a slushy tequila Baja Blast at their Taco Bells.
Yes.
Or they did for a limited time.
Yeah, during like the really hot summer, most Taco Bells, at least the ones where I live, they'll do slushy ones. So, and I'm not a huge soda drinker just because it's so bad for you. But that's one thing. In the summertime, I like to go to Sonic for a cherry limeade, or I'll go to Taco Bell for a Baja Blast slushie.
Okay, well, we don't fucking get those slushies. This is what I'm talking about. We get left out, man.
Sorry.
Like, it just makes me mad.
I totally hear you. And I can't tell you how many times I've made friends over the pond in, like, Europe, and they're always ratting on Americans for having, like, so much corn syrup and other stuff. And I'm like, dudes, most Americans don't want the corn syrup either. It's really bad for you. But do you know why they do it? It's so cheap because, think about it, we're in America. what's our native vegetable here? Corn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, this is where corn comes from, South America, and all of the Americas you can grow corn in. And so it's just the naturally cheapest sweetener you can get. And it's addictive, so corporations are all like, put it in everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's weird. In between, you can have like Nabisco in Europe and Nabisco in the States and maybe a Nabisco in Canada, I don't know. But like, just using that as an example, every single country, they'll have a different recipe for the same kind of cracker or cookie or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it, but at the same time, I feel like other countries have healthier versions. A lot of times when you look at ingredients list, if you compare, let's say, Germany's Doritos to America's Doritos, the ingredients list is way less. And the reason why, not to get all scientific-y on our, I know it's not a word, but I just made it a word, on our podcast. But in America, unless something is proven bad, they will keep using it in food. But in Europe, if there is suspicion that something is bad, it is not allowed to be in food until proven that it's safe. It's the opposite. And so in America, you will find, if you look at ingredients lists, they're like double the size of like most other countries. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So count your lucky stars, mister, that you don't have the stuff from the States, okay?
Well, I mean, there's some things like I wish we did. Like, we didn't have Amazon for like 2 or 3 years before, or 2 or 3 years until after they like kind of corporatized.
Yeah. No, that is true. And you guys are practically, you're literally our cousins. You're on the same freaking it's North America. So it's always blown my mind that whenever my uncles or aunts in like Quebec would complain that they can't get something, or my grandma would call some of her sisters and be like, oh, you're coming down to Vermont to pick up blah 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 because you can't get it in Canada. And I'd just be like, why can't you get it in Canada? Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been something that's been making me mad. And I think the reason I wanted to talk about this specifically in this episode was, I think either I wrote it down before the Red Dead stuff, or it was something else that I just can't remember that just pissed me off.
Well, if I could, I would tell Taco Bell to get you some damn slushy Baja, okay? Because they are
Taco
yummy.
Bell.
I'm not going to lie.
Taco Bell, TikTok. Come on.
Yep.
I need my slushy Baja Blast. But anyways, so now we'll go into the Twitch segment of things.
Okie dokie. Don't roast me.
So, no, I'm not going to roast you. Something I find interesting about what you do, I find that you've been slowly discovering your brand, and I haven't seen it yet on Twitch or YouTube amongst the very few VTubers I do watch. Mm-hmm. But you're like a Tamagotchi.
I'm a Tamagotchi.
You want your view, like, all you need is a death animation now to like kill off your VTuber midstream. That's all you need. Like, if someone doesn't feed or hydrate you, you just die after like an hour or whatever.
Okay, I'm only laughing so hard because in Unity, where I make the magic happen, I was looking at death animations. I was gonna have a feigned death animation where if someone's being mean to me, I was gonna be like, you killed me. And just be like, nah. Okay, I kind of want to like label myself as a Tamagotchi now.
But that's what your brand reminds me of. And like, I feel like it's kind of a cool and unique brand. At least I haven't personally seen it yet.
Yeah. No,
and
I kind of see how I needed you as an outside person to tell me this, because like now that you said it, I'm kind of seeing what I've subconsciously been doing now.
But like, I think what I mainly want to talk about is like, where do you come up with your ideas?
Oh man, like how do I think them up? Well, well, I never want to copy other people, but I like to watch other VTubers, and I like to see how the community as a whole is, and like, well, I've never seen anyone eat or drink really, and I saw these. I guess what it is when I look at myself as a VTuber, a lot of VTubers are being idols, or they're being a separate person from them as like their own physical form. But for me, when I made my avatar, I really just wanted to be her, but I want to exist in the real world, if that makes sense. And so when I watch regular Twitch streamers, I was seeing them with hydrate or stretch or, eating commands. And I was like, how can I do this as me? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I mean, I really do want to fully animate it, but right now I have to just use images to make it work as best I can, which is, I never really wanted to do the popsicle, but it just kind of, I was like, what's something that I can stick in front of my face and lick? And I was like, oh, a popsicle. And so that's why I did a popsicle. But I originally wanted to have Dongo that I could just be like, no. You know what I mean? And like, it would be gone. It would be off the stick and it would be gone. But I haven't been able to animate that properly yet.
Yeah.
But, you mentioned that I want to do a mukbang. I want to do a mukbang as a VTuber.
I feel like something like that would be kind of hard to pull off. But I feel like if anybody's going to pull it off, it's going to be you. Just based off of like just the sheer amount of work you put on top of yourself. And like, I know sometimes I don't exactly help with the workload. Like, I'm just like, hey Bunny, remember that time you said you were gonna do this, and then you're like, oh fuck, I'll add it to this week's schedule.
Yeah, I was like, ah, damn it, yes, I'll do it. No, I love it. I don't know. I used to go to part-time school and do full-time work, and I never really thought of myself as like a busybody, but even when I had a period of like a year where I wasn't working or doing anything, I felt really like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And now that, I guess I'm very like one-track minded. If I have something I want, I literally just grab onto its legs and I just let it drag me places. That's how I feel about VTubing. I'm just gonna latch on and let it drag me where it goes.
I can kind of see that, I guess. I mean, in its own little way. I mean, I feel like, and not to like put all this stress on you, but I feel like you could compete with Code Miko. Do you know who Code Miko is?
Oh Jesus, of course I know who Code Miko is. I could never compete with Senpai. Like, Senpai Miko is like the top.
But like, if she didn't have the suit, you put in just as much time as she puts into her stuff, I feel.
That's probably valid. I will admit to that. I prefer to be humble and be like, oh no, I'm not doing nothing. But I mean, yeah, I put a lot of hours in, and it's on top of everything else that I do in regular life. So it's definitely one of those things where anytime I'm not streaming, I don't play games. I would love to just be like, I'm gonna be lazy and play some Animal Crossing this morning, but I don't really do that anymore. But I also feel like it's not a forever thing. Eventually, I will have things exactly how I want them, and then I'll take a break. You know what I mean? Where it's just streaming and having fun. But I honestly really enjoy what I do too. I like the modeling, and I like the animating, and I like, I guess, the business side of it. Like, I like teasing new ideas on Twitter and Instagram and posing and cosplaying and making new outfits. I feel like it's all just a really good, like, portfolio fluffer in a way, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And like that kind of brings us back to like the topic from last week where like I feel like even if you didn't make like a cinematic or something, even if you just gave us art, and we kind of touched on this, was like we could just talk about what the game has planned, like just like some things, but like this is where making a successful Kickstarter is hard. Like you have to set the bar low but high enough for everyone to want to buy it.
Yeah.
And then you gotta exceed expectations. And I feel like the exceeding expectations without leaking more expectations is hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you're passionate. And both of us get very, like, I know I get very passionate, and I've seen you get very passionate just the past, like, 2 months VTubing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that statement. You've got to exceed expectations, but you also have to make sure you're not setting yourself up to fail with too much of something. Because sometimes, no matter how hard you work, sometimes you're just going to fail at something. And that's normal. You know, you don't have to feel bad about it. That's going to happen. So I definitely think with anything in life, VTubing or making a game, in this instance, yeah, you definitely have to plan ahead, and that's probably your biggest, most important step, is just putting it down on paper or your phone, whatever you want to notate on. But just like, where do I want this to be when it's done? Okay, and how do I want to achieve it? And what's the overall theme that I'm going for? Or brand, like I never really thought about the fact that I was making a brand when I started doing my Twitch seriously and VTubing until you were talking about, oh, it's your brand, you know?
Yeah.
I still have no clue what to call my brand, but I'm going to Tamagotchi now. I'm really digging that.
But like, even I feel like this is what Nintendo doesn't do right, is they allow everybody to set higher expectations of them, and then they just never reach those expectations. Like it's the exact same with like the OLED model. Like everything's coming full circle right now. Is they made these updates in the software for something they're not going to be able to do for the next
a while,
probably year, at least. And now everybody's disappointed and upset with Nintendo, and it's like kind of their fault, but also kind of our fault.
Yeah. It's not true until you see it, kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely don't absolve them of people's anger. I just myself personally am like, well, you know, it's kind of 50-50, so I'm not really that upset. It's not like oh my god, Nintendo, I'm never buying anything from you again. But yeah, I feel like they may have even set out to do the Pro like we talked about, and I think people were getting hyped, and I think by the time they realized they probably couldn't do anything to the degree they wanted to, they're like, release an OLED model. You know what I mean? And then it was like too late at that point. But yeah, there's so many coding tweaks that were done that definitely hint to a more powerful system coming out too, so
yeah.
Ivy.
Where I guess my next question is kind of, where do you see yourself taking VTubing? Like how far do you want to take your characters Tamagotchi life?
Well, funny you mentioned that, because I was wondering that myself, and I had an epiphany the other day. You know how sometimes there's like these talk shows on YouTube, and one of the VTubers that I loosely follow, she got interviewed on that talk show, and it's these guys sitting at a table, but like they had like a green screen in the other chair, and then they basically just put her there. And I was like, you know what? That's so cool. And then I was thinking about like, I'm not going to be a singer, but I was thinking about how Hatsune has holographic concerts and stuff, and I know for most VTubers, people don't think about the fact that they are another person, and people are like, oh, remember I'm a real person too, and blah blah blah. But I really just get really super excited and passionate about the idea of literally just bringing myself as a waifu into the real world. I don't know what it is. I just really want to. I want to like go on YouTube shows, and I want to promote like other communities, and I want to have big. I want to have like big collabs and things, but I just want to. I want to bring VTubing into the real world, if that makes sense. I don't know how I do it, but that's what I really want to do. I really need a phone app that will allow me to like do expressions and like wiggle my head, but like record through my phone's camera, so I can make like so I can make like TikToks where it's like me as my character, but like I'm in the world. Like I want an AR app of me.
Right.
I just think that's so awesome. I just love it.
See, and this is another thing, like, I think we need not a gaming company, but maybe like a software company.
That would be super sweet. It
Because
really would.
I feel like you are the only one. I'm not going to say you're the only one to have this idea, but you're definitely the only person to have this exact version of the idea.
Yeah.
And you're the only one who's going to be able to explain how you want it done.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Yeah, because I feel like all VTubers could benefit from a software like that. I don't know, I really do love VTubing. And it's not because it's like, oh, you're just saying that because you're doing it. And I don't necessarily follow any exact VTubers myself, husbandos or waifus, but I just love the idea of it. And I think it's because I've always loved AI and robots and androids and all that stuff. I just love the idea of a virtual world that you can bring into the real life. And I just think that in it of itself is just what excites me the most. And I think that's how I get most of my ideas, to be honest.
So you look at other VTubers and you kind of steal and twist, is what you're telling me.
Well, I've never seen other VTubers like eat or drink before. I'm certain other ones have, but like I look at them and I'm just wondering like what can I do that's a little different but unique? Or like I basically look at the limitations. Like what can't you do as a VTuber? And then I watch men and women who stream, and I look at their rewards and how they engage with people, and then I wonder to myself, how could a VTuber achieve that? Like, how could they do something like that? You know what I mean? Because I'm not just going to keep what I do to myself. Like, once I get my setup exactly how I want it, I plan on doing a series of VTubing, like, tutorials and TikToks, probably, like, on YouTube, too. But I want to get it out to people that, hey, you can do these kind of things too, and you could really boost up your engagement if you stream, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of want to make this a Twitch episode, mainly talking about your brand, because it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, because you've just been doing a lot of things that I feel like builds your brand. Especially this last week, you've been working, or at least the last 2 weeks, you've been working a lot on building a brand. And even if you don't realize you're building the brand, I think you somewhat understand that's what's happening.
Yeah, I definitely do feel a little stumbly. Like I don't fully understand what my brand is or how to build a brand. I'm just doing these things that feel right to a degree. And I'm just trying to like build on it as much as I can. And that's what I mean, like that crescendo. Like I know I'm working a lot, but I feel like there's this peak that I'm just gonna keep climbing until I can reach this peak, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna take 2 days off during the week instead of one, and like, and this will be, like I can go out and go camping some weekends and like other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just,
Have you?
but I enjoy the grind too, though. Like I definitely can't see myself ever not doing this. I mean, I'll just straight up say that. Like, I want to do this for the rest of my life until I die. In my chair.
That's fair. Have you ever thought about making merchandise of some sort, like whether it's your VTube character on a sticker for the sticker bombing fans, or for example, you have that Streech command. Have you ever thought about putting that on a shirt in like a specific font?
No, I haven't really. I guess that's kind of the logical next step, is I should probably think about like a merch store. But I know I do graphic design, I know I do digital art, but I don't do it of myself. And I'm talking about me as my avatar, because she is me. No. I am Bunny Shade, that's me. So when I say me, I mean, who you see on stream. So I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about like doing like a funny cartoon of myself or anything. I would have to think about like what kind of merchandise I should do. I don't want to be presumptuous that people want to wear my face on their shirt. You know what I mean?
No, and I think I don't think a lot of people would buy a shirt with your face on it. Not to like hate on you, but I think merch has taken a very different approach than what it was 10 years ago when, or even 15 years ago when you, like, PewDiePie started making merch, for example, or whatever. Now it's a lot more text logo based.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Memes.
Like, I don't know. Because when you say merch, I see a lot of Twitch people who they have themselves on a shirt or something. I don't know if it's because of the difference of like whether they're big or starting out or what. So when you say merch, that's what I'm thinking, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think that anyone would want to wear that, and I don't think I would be comfortable with it. But if you're talking about like making memes or like running jokes or texts and logo and stuff, I don't really have a logo for myself. I guess I would have to think about like what I would make and if I would even incorporate that, and then how would I incorporate that, that kind of thing.
Or so even if you want to do like an actual picture or something, I think a lot of your viewer fan base would wear the popsicle and the green boba tea right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be you. It just has to be like something that resembles your stream that kind of looks cute on a shirt.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I do have a Redbubble account that I created years ago. Well, I say years, but like a year ago. But before I got serious about streaming, I was actually like sticker bombing, and I'm one of those people. I was gonna make stickers of like just cute kawaii little like designs and things. So I definitely understand the logistics and how to start doing that. I definitely feel like I needed to chat with you to kind of understand like what kind of a direction I should take that with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I think when you're doing specifically streamer merch or like YouTuber merch, you have to build it around your brand and not as much yourself. Like, I feel like that's where it's gone, and a lot of people, I think, I've made this mistake too, because I've tried making like my own merch, and like I will never wear any of the merch I made 7 years ago with like my dumbass DJ vinyl record logo on it. Like, it just doesn't look good, and it's not something I'd wear in public.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. I have art and writings from like 7 years ago where I'm just all like, what was I thinking?
But like even if cool. I don't know what other drinks you have. I know you have like that rainbow unicorn Starbucks drink or whatever. But I know you have a bunch of different popsicles. Even if you did like a shirt plastered in your popsicles and also plastered in your drinks, like front and back and like down the sleeves and stuff.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I could totally do that.
As long as like you have rights to using those for that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I made. So the drinks are actually a free to use art pack that I had found, but I was already in the works of making some emotes for the stream, and so I wanted to make some legit my own drinks and my own flavors. That way I could also have the right to use them as emotes. Because I was thinking about that, like, ooh, you know, for my subscribers, like for the tier 2 and 3, I should definitely do like some really fun emotes that people would want, you know what I mean, as like a good reward. Because if you're willing to be like a tier 3 subscriber, you should be able to use emotes that have to do with my actual graphics that I make and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, that brings up rights to use. That brings up a good point. If I call myself a Tamagotchi, couldn't I get in trouble by the company that owns Tamagotchi?
Technically right now I think you could. Come back to me in 80 years and I think you'll be fine.
Okay. But like
we'll call
like
you an electronic pet.
Yeah, I'm oh my god, yes, I'm an electronic pet. If you don't feed and water me, I die. I love it. Oh, and pets. I do require affection or I will wither. Possibly praise. I like praise too.
And see, I think that would make a good sticker. You getting head pat.
Yeah.
I think stickers are the only exception where like I would put your face on it.
I could probably do this, yes.
But again, if you have the rights to the head pat gift. I don't know where it comes from or whatever, but
I don't know. It's such a meme now. Like everyone uses it on everything. So I don't even know if you could or not. I could always just make a cartoon one too, though.
You could, yeah. Make your own.
Now I kind of do want to make a sticker where it's like, I don't know, I'd have to think of the wording, but something about like bunny shade. Head pats and praise required to grow.
Yeah, I feel like even if you made like a banner for like, I'm pretty sure Twitch does banners. If they don't, they're not doing something right. But even if like your banner had like head pats, water, and food, or however you want to phrase that, like you would put it in your banner.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because from what I understand with TikTok, you're growing in followers off stream a lot more than you are on stream sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when people view your profile offline, they're going to see that banner and that profile picture.
Yeah. I also have a trailer up there now too, but I want to replace that trailer with clips. So I'm going to be doing that shortly. Right now I just have some music and there's no like sound or anything, but I was talking to Allkill and he was mentioning that I should definitely do like actual, verbal clips so they can kind of get an idea of like what we talk about and how the stream sounds and everything.
Yeah.
So, and that's my next big project. Although I am finishing up a commission on Monday, but next week I'm working on my panels I want to redo my panels so they fit my actual my layout.
Yeah, consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have about 10 or so minutes left, but I still want to talk about your brand a little bit.
Yeah.
I had something in mind like 5 seconds ago. You're gonna have to give me a sec to think of it again.
Gear up your brain.
Yeah, my hamsters have to start running. I don't remember what it was now. What, I guess, what do you want? Oh, right. Have you, because this was in our last episode, have you thought about your charity stream a little bit? Or do you still not want to talk about it too much, or?
I haven't made any full decisions yet, and I'm probably gonna push it off to August so I can because I want to make some graphics for it, and I've just been really busy
Hey.
with the actual stream. But no, I'm definitely wanting to do it for the Sea Shepherds because I like their cause and I think they're kind of badass, and I just think that would be a fun charity stream to do outside of what normally goes on once a year.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to do it. I'm going to do like a 12-hour I'm going to plan out a 12-hour stream because 24 hours is a bit hard to work around. Plus you're not going to get,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have a dedicated, not everyone's going to be there for the full 24 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I was thinking either 12 or 18 hour is probably what I'll do, but I'll figure it out.
And another thing I wanted to talk about was, have you decided on how you're going to do subscriber events? Like you were talking in stream one day about doing a subscriber day where you play with subscribers for 12 hours or whatever it is.
Well, I was gonna do 2 weekends out of the month, so every other weekend I wanted to do a stream where I play with subscribers, and then I also want to on one of the weekends where we could do a anime night where we kind of do our own I'll watch the same anime and just talk and discuss it or just whatever we want to do with it, and then maybe even a movie night that we could all do
on
together.
stream.
Well, if we do it on stream, it would have to be something that we could stream. But I was thinking, if we all have Crunchyroll and we all want to watch the same episode, we can just be in Discord to discuss it kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So you know what I've been doing with my girl. By the way, I'm in a long-distance relationship. That was last episode, too. What I've been doing is I've been just screen sharing because we started Demon Slayer last night and we watched 5 episodes. I think we're on episode 6 now.
Oh, awesome.
And she was really liking it, but she also wanted to talk to me and hear my voice because for some reason she thinks I have a great voice. But so we stopped at episode 6, but I've just been streaming my screen into the Discord call.
Yeah. I was thinking something like that, yeah. Obviously, there's legal things you have to worry about, but yeah, something basically like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could get sued. I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Fuck it. We're keeping it in. It's only one person, and she has Netflix too, so it's not like she couldn't watch it on her own.
Yeah. Well, trust me, I think it's a bit silly. I think if everyone has the ability to watch it, why can't you watch it together? But yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Also, why don't we have a video game that's literally just a movie theater where we can all watch the same thing together and our little avatars sit in the movie theater? Come on. Is that a VR chat thing?
It probably is a VR chat thing. I think if there's anything VR chat doesn't do, I think it's open source, so anything is possible.
Who knows then, yeah.
But have you been, I don't know if you're on the exact same TikTok wavelength as me, but have you been seeing those couples in VR chat? There's one in particular, they're Fox couples.
No, I haven't had any of those.
Oh, they come up on my TikTok all the time, and they do the kawaii anime waifu content and husbando content.
See, I try to follow and like a lot of VTuber stuff, and I even searched the waifu hashtag and followed and liked a lot of things. But for some reason, TikTok is oh, you want political social science videos, and I'm like, what made you think I want this?
Yeah, I can agree. Sometimes their algorithm doesn't work effectively for me.
I'll get a serious TikTok, and I do want to like it because I agree with it. But then all they give me is serious TikToks for a week, and I'm like, can I go back? Although, weirdly enough, did you know there's a prison talk?
No, I didn't.
There is a whole side of TikTok where it's inmates who are not supposed to have phones, but they do. and they make TikToks.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's also book talk. That's always fun. I don't mind being there. It's usually like writers talking about different genres and like book recommendations.
I feel like there's a talk for everything, though.
I think so.
Like, at this point, if it's not on TikTok, like, you need to be the first to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to get much traction. Mm-hmm. But I feel like almost everything is on TikTok. Like, there's woodworking talk. There's, like, just, like, everything. I swear, there's skits. There's improv, jokes, dark humor.
Oh my god, did you know that there is a Neon Genesis Evangelion Tamagotchi?
Are you just looking at Tamagotchis now?
No.
I did not know this, no.
No, it popped up, sorry. But yeah, no, there is TikTok for everything. That's true.
Yeah, there is literally a TikTok for everything, which is kind of scary because, like, that's what also why I feel like so many people are like, oh, it's impossible to get noticed doing anything you do now, is because everything's been done. And I feel like that stopped me with, like, business ideas, is because I'm like, what's something I can do that's never been done before? Or what's something I can make that's never been done before? And it's like everything's been fucking made. But there's always something new coming out.
And then you're just like, how come I didn't
think of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show there are new, unique things to do. You just... I think people just get wrapped up with trying to emulate, and then they don't realize how to do other stuff. But, you know, it's hard, because you're not always going to have the new idea. I mean, other people will. But I also feel like...
it sucks.
I feel like you can... I think you can succeed even if you aren't doing something new, but it's really a matter of
how much work you're willing to put in.
Yeah, you just really got to put the work in. If you're not going to put the work in, then you're not going to get gains. I mean, that's... Yeah. I've realized this in many a thing in life. Like, you got to put work in. And the thing is if you don't feel like you have enough energy to put the work in, then you just have to remind yourself that you don't want it that much, so it's really not your loss anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think collectively it's just, it comes down to how much work you're willing to put in and what are you willing to do for it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're doing something that everyone's doing right now. It's popping off for everyone right now, and it's popular, but you're also making it different, and you don't realize that you're making it so different.
Yeah,
it blows my mind.
I don't think I do anything different. Like, I know every VTuber is different, because every VTuber has their own personality, and I will admit, I'm not going for the whole, this is a character, like, Bunny Shade is me, I am Bunny Shade, like, my voice and opinions, I'm never really acting anything. I know I'm probably a bit more goofy when I stream, but that's anyone streaming. If you come to me and say, oh, you're fake, I don't watch you, I watch Soda Poppin' or Lyric or whoever. They are extra themselves when they're streaming. Everyone's extra. It doesn't mean they're being fake. They're them. But when you're doing Twitch, you're doing an entertainment show. You want to be funny.
Yeah, you have to put on an act.
Yeah, you want to be funny. You want to make people laugh and have fun. So, if anything, yeah, I mean, if you meet me in real life, I am just as much a gamer as I am, streaming, but I might be a little bit more quiet, because, a lot of times if I'm not streaming, it's my chill time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna relax. But if you get me excited about something, I'm still gonna squeak. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't feel like I do anything really different, but I will admit, I'm not trying to go for I'm an idol thing. I'm not doing the whole idol thing. I'm not Japanese, so I kind of feel like I wouldn't do it justice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I am just a Western gamer girl who has a love of Japanese food and anime and manga, but, you know, I'm definitely not idol material, so I'm not going to try doing that.
Right. Huh.
But I appreciate that. I appreciate you talking to me about it, though, because it's nice to know that people notice the kind of work that I do put in, because I do.
Yeah.
I do put work in.
Speaking of putting in the work, can I just say, like 9-10 years ago when I made my very first YouTube channel and I was like uploading videos because it was the thing everybody wanted to do, and it still is the thing everybody wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long it took me to get 40 views on a video?
A couple weeks.
No, it took a long ass time. It probably took me years.
What?
Years. Probably took me a year just to get one view. You want to know what our analytics currently look like between the two of us?
For what? TikTok or the podcast?
For the podcast.
Oh, for the like what?
We're averaging about 20 views a video.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Why are you listening to me?
I thought that was cool.
That is. That's so cool.
It either means I'm doing something right for us, or people just want to fucking listen to us talk about random shit.
I don't know, because this is kind of a random podcast.
Yeah.
DJs, what if you had to have sex to grow a baby? I'm never letting you live that down, you little weirdo.
Hey, it was a serious conversation I needed to have with someone. I had another one today, but I didn't write it down, so I forgot it.
Oh, no. I mean, oh, darn.
Yeah. I've been on the D's Nuts jokes as well lately.
I see this.
Yeah, Bunny's been suffering a little bit with those.
That's okay. I made sure you were suffering yesterday in my stream. I got 2 of my viewers to start harassing you.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, that was pretty much it. I feel like we kind of wanted to talk about the same stuff. Well, I mean, you brought up, like, my branding and things, but I really wanted to talk about, like, the game idea and, you know, interviewing people, and then the Switch lack of Pro OLED series.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty much it for this week. It was kind of a slow week. There were other things that happened, but not anything specific to, like, what we would necessarily chat about.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like that's what makes podcasts hard to do weekly, but I feel like a weekly podcast is also necessary to grow.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that just goes back to putting the work in. If you're only doing a podcast once a month, that's only 12 episodes in a year. And the more you're out there, the more likely you're going to have new viewers appear because you have more content to consume. The biggest thing I would say, because I don't know how the uploading works, but just make sure you're hashtagging all the appropriate stuff whenever we talk about things, because that'll try to get the most people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to know something funny that I noticed? I don't know if you uploaded it on the website or not, but I noticed that on the website, it doesn't give you the option to upload with sound.
For what?
And for TikTok.
Oh.
And I noticed that your last TikTok actually has like no views on it, and it's because it has no sound behind it besides the original sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought I had put a sound on there. I'll have to look at that then.
But I noticed that, and I was like, yeah, of course. But no, since I can send them to you over Discord, it's easier for you to download now onto your phone and stuff, so.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening to your next favorite podcast. We are your Meta Misfits. Bunny, anything else?
Nope, that was it. And I love you. Goodbye.
Have a good week, you guys.
Have a good one.